Determine the number that makes each sentence true. Think of 18 is blank times as much as 6. That blank is 6 times what is 13? 9 times what makes 36? 10 times what is 5? 1/2 times what is 1? Or how many halves does it take to make 1? How many fourths does it take to make 2? I'm going to do 2 of them with you. 28 times something that makes 7. Well, if we times 28 by a number 1 or larger, we would get 28 or bigger. So to get 7, we need a number that's smaller than 1. 28 divided by 4 is 7. So what number could I times that would get me 7? Dividing by 4 is the same as multiplying by 1/4. How many fourths does it take to make 2? Well, 4/4 makes 1 whole. So 4/4 is 1. That means it would take 8 1/4 to make 2. Try and finish the remaining problems for your warm-up. Ryan's tabletop measures 4.5 feet by 1.25 feet. He wants to cover the tabletop with copies of the colored tile without cutting any tiles. Can Ryan cover the tabletop? If so, how many tiles does he need? If not, why? The first thing I notice is the tiles are measured in inches, but the tabletop is measured in feet. So let's start by converting these to inches. 4.5 we can change to an improper fraction. 4 times 2 is 8, plus the top would make 9/2. And there are 12 inches in a foot. We can divide out the 2. 9 times 6 is 54 inches. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 1 more makes 5/4. Again, there are 12 inches in a foot. We can divide out the 4, and 4 fits into 12 3 times. 5 times 3 is 15. I'm going to clean this up just so we have a little bit more room to work on the next steps. Going in the horizontal direction here, the tiles are 7/8 of an inch wide. So we're going to split 54 inches into tiles that are 7/8 in size. We're going to split the vertical 15 inches by tiles that are 1.5 inches tall. Again, this can be converted to an improper fraction. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 more makes 3. 3 has, I don't know, I keep putting a 5. All right, then we're going to change these to leave, change. 15 times 2/3. 15 times 2 is 30. And 30 divided by 3 is 10 tiles going up and down. We need to multiply 54 by 8. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 3 more makes 432. over 7. Let's check and see if that comes out to a whole number. 7 fits into 42 6 times. Subtract, bring down the 2. 7 fits into 12 once, but there's going to be a remainder. So, part of the direction said he wants to cover the tabletop with copies of the color tile without cutting. He's going to have to cut tiles apart in order to get them to fit in this horizontal direction. So if not, we need to explain why. Ryan cannot cover the table without cutting the tiles because 4.5 feet cannot be split perfectly into 7/8 of an inch. There's going to be a piece that needs to be cut. Tara and her trail crew have built 7/10 miles of trail. The distance is 2/3 of the total distance of the trail they plan to build. Which expression represents the total distance of the trail in miles that Tara and her crew plan to build? Explain your reasoning. Well, we can think of this using the unknown factor equation. 7/10 is 2/3 of what number? That was written as a division expression in this form. So we are going to use this one. And we need to explain our reasoning. The 7/10 of the trail they have made or have built is 2/3 of the total distance. So the unknown can be found using this division expression. Here we see the tape diagram that would represent 2/3. We talked about how 2/3 we would draw 3 boxes and underline 2 of them, and 7/10 would go in that section. So if we were to split 7/10 into these boxes, we could rewrite 7/10 as 14/20, and 14 split into 2 parts would be 7. 7, 14, 21, so it would be 21/20, or 1 mile and 1/20. Number 2, match each situation with the expression it represents. Justify your thinking. If 2/3 quarts of water fills 3/4 of a container, how many containers will 1 quart of water fill? Two-thirds fills 3/4. That's like 7/10 is 2/3 of the trail. So this should be a division expression. But instead of being asked how much fills the container, we're asked how much fills 1 quart. So this should be this one. We are trying to fill 3/3 of a quart. So this would look like this. And 2/3 of the container, or 2 quart. 2/3 of a quart is 3/4 of a container. If 2/3 quarts of water fills 3/4 of a container, how many quarts fill the container? So this would be the other division expression, but this time we're filling the container instead of using a full quart. So we're underlining 3 of them and labeling that with 2/3. If Jada pours 2/3 of 3 quarts, or of 2/3 of 3/4 of quarts of water out of a container, how much water does Jada pour out? So when you have that 2/3 of 3/4, that would be the multiplication expression. Here we would draw 3/4 and then we would split them up into thirds going the other direction. And we would want 2/3 so we have 6 that are double shaded. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. Kayla has 8 cups of oats. Her recipe for 1 batch of scones calls for 1 2/3 cups of oats. How many batches of scones can Kayla make? So she has this much, and each batch uses this much. So to figure out how many batches, we're going to divide the 8 by the amount used in each recipe. We're going to change them to an improper fraction first. Then we are going to leave change. 1 times 3 is 3, plus 2 more makes 5. Then we will leave, change, and remember that invisible 1. 8 times 3 is 24. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 fits into 24 4 times, because 4 times 5 is 20, plus 4 more fifths. A kitchen faucet flows at a rate of 7/8 gallons per minute. At this rate, how many minutes does it take to fill a jug that holds 2 1/4 gallons? The jug is being split up into 7/8 of a gallon per minute. We're going to change it to an improper fraction. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 more makes 9. Then leave, change to multiplication, and flip the fraction over. I notice 8 and 4 both have multiples of 4, so I can simplify now to make it a little easier. 9 times 2 is 18. 1 times 7 is 7. 7 fits into 18 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14, so I need 4 more to get to 18. 2 and 4/7 minutes. A runner plans to run 7.5 miles. He runs only 2.25 miles. What fraction of his planned distance does the runner run? He ran 2.25 of the 7.5 that he planned to run. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 1 more is 15. Leave, change, change. 2 and 4 are both multiples of 2. 9 and 15 are both multiples of 3. 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 5 is 10. So he ran 3/10 of his original plan. When 6.5 tiles are placed end to end, the total length of the tiles is 4 feet 4 inches. What is the total length of each tile in feet? Okay, so this is 4 feet 4 inches. There are 12 inches in a foot. So we can rewrite this as 4 and 4/12 of a foot. Now that is the distance that it covers. And we are breaking that up into 6.5 tiles. So we're going to split 4 and 4/12 of a foot into 6.5 tiles. Again, we're changing these to improper fractions first, then leave, change, change. 4 times 12 is 48, plus 4 more. 49, 50, 51, 52. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 more is 13. Now we leave, change, change. 2 and 12 are both multiples of 2. I believe 13 and 52 are multiples of 13. That would be 13, 26, 39, 52. So that would be 4 13s. 4 times 1 is 4. 6 times 1 is 6. Those are both multiples of 2. So it can be reduced even further. So that means each tile is 2/3 of a foot long. 1 serving of yogurt is 3/4 cups. Tyler eats 1 cup of yogurt. How many servings of yogurt does Tyler eat? We're splitting his 1 cup of yogurt into servings that are 3/4 of a cup. This is the same as 1 times 4/3. There's an invisible 1 there. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 3 is 3. So he ate 4/3 of a serving. Or we could say he ate 1 1/3 of a serving. 1 1/3 servings. 8. Lacey is 3.5 feet tall. Her big brother Leo is 5.25 feet tall. Leo is how many times as tall as Lacey? So we're going to split Leo's height into 3.5 for Lacey's height to figure out how many laces it would take to make up Leo's height. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 more is 21. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. Leave, change, change. 21 and 7 are both multiples of 7. 2 and 4 are both multiples of 2. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. So it would take 1 and 1/2 times Lacey's height to reach Leo's height. The orange scissors are 1/4 inch long. The pink scissors are 2/3 as long as the orange scissors. How long are the pink scissors in inches? I think they're trying to trick you on this one. If it's 2/3 as long, it's not asking us how many of the pink scissors it takes to make the orange scissors, or vice versa. This is actually a multiplication problem. 2/3 of 8.25 will tell us the length of the pink scissors. Well, 8 times 4 is 32, plus 1 more makes 33. These are both multiples of 3. It takes 11 threes to make 33, and 1 3 to make 3. These are both multiples of 2. It takes 1 2 to make 2, and 2 2s to make 4. 1 times 11 is 11. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 fits into 11 5 times with 1 extra. So they are 5.5 inches long. Write a word problem that could be solved using the expression 4.25 divided by 2/3. We are going to write a story or a story problem involving a question as well, because it should be a math problem. Chloe has a recipe that calls for 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar. The bag of brown sugar comes with 4.25 cups. Here's the question part. How many batches of the recipe can Chloe make? This could be batches of cookies, it could be batches of caramel, could be brown sugar shaken espresso. It's up to you. You could also create a story problem that involves something completely different than brown sugar in a recipe. You could use sand. You could use weights. You saw several examples in the earlier problems that we did today. Make sure your warm-up and your workbook are filled in for today's lesson so that it is complete. And come back for lesson 12.